alert you on all channels, people. The Pond King is open and the dealing can commence.
And make no mistake, mere survival.
Meds discovered. By water.
been staring at that door for hours hoping you'd come through it. Damn good to see you.
No pleasantries, Sonny. Let's just get down to business.
All right, fair enough. Did you get an audience with the Padre?
An audience? Dude's a priest, not royalty.
Can it, Dez? What did Father Carter have to say?
Too much? That dude likes flapping his gums. Bottom line, he's down with the concept. He did have a few stipulations. He gave me a letter to give to you.
That son of a bitch. All right, put it in the drawer. That son of a bitch. All right, put it in the drawer. Man of God, my ass. He's a wolf, this guy. Shifty, but fuck it. He can have it his way. With the preacher bringing his exiles to the table, we will have people in every corner of this city. There's a whole lot of demand out there, tourists, and everybody in NOLA's gonna know that the Pond King always delivers.
Doesn't sound as cool as you think.
Keep quiet, Dez. I'm doing business with the tourists. You'll get your cut once the goods start flowing through here from our exile friends. With everybody still dazed from the shitstorm in Old Town and the reserve fiasco, this trade network is the perfect plan at the perfect time. Supplies have never been harder to come by.
Everybody's got Old Town on the brain.
Yeah, well, it was a fucked up situation. Some lunatic has figured out how to keep the bells ringing for days. What's the point of that? Slaughtering a bunch of innocent people, then making it nearly impossible to ever set foot in that stretch of NOLA ever again. Chaos like that ain't just bad for business, it's bad for living. Hope Mama gets a hold of that fucker, gives them what they deserve.
I heard it was some tower guy who went rogue.
Yeah, but you know what they say, Pumpkin. Truth travels slowly. The rumors have wings.
You're like the only one alive who says stuff like that.
Cut the shit, Dez. I mean it.
Why the supply shortage?
Gotta think the reserve had something to do with it. Everybody had it in their heads that there was this buried treasure out there, and they all broke their necks trying to find it. Then, poof, it evaporates into thin air. And all those folks who were depending on it gotta find another way to feed themselves. Now, some people might see that as a crisis. I see it as an opportunity.
Another sign that we're all fucked.
You need to shift your attitude, kid.
Just make sure my cut is substantial, son. Sorry, I can't listen right now.
Hold up, we're not finished.
I can focus now. Sorry.
Let's pick up where we left off.
Just make sure my cut is substantial, Sonny. Then we won't have a problem.
I'll tell you what I tell all my associates. I haven't operated this fine establishment for 28 years, through a fucking apocalypse even, by breaking my promises. You've got my word, and my word is good as solid gold.
It's true. He does say that to everybody.
That's enough, Dez. One thing you gotta know about the exiles, they're like catfish, night feeders. So you'll need to venture out after dark to do business with them. Work that UV flashlight to find where they've set up shop. It's a whole different ballgame at night. But the exiles say it's the best time to scavenge. Less competition, lots more loot.
I'm not scared of the dark. I dig it. Soothes me.
Okay, Dracula. Just giving you a heads up. Listen, while you're here, I got a favor to ask you. It would help the trade network out a whole lot. Our old friend Henri, he had stuff hidden all over this town. He was like a fucking squirrel. Couple of nuts here, couple of nuts there. Most of it I could care less. But he and I were in the middle of a deal for one of those stashes, and then he got himself dead. I happen to know where he hid it. You can keep whatever else you find, but the batteries, those belong to me.
You expect me to risk my ass for 9 volts?
It may seem trivial to you, I know, but the whole trade network relies on batteries to keep in touch. I know more than a few exiles who would gladly exchange their firstborn for one damn 9-volt.
Better be worth it, Sonny. My patience has limits.
Believe me, I have no intention of testing it. So it sounds like we got us a deal then. The spot ain't too far from here. An old recording studio in the French Quarter. Lots of fond memories. Henri and I used to do session gigs there. Him on slide, me on bass. We even played with Slim Dog Fortune once, if you can believe that.
You knew Slim Dog.
I most certainly did. Not like Henri. Those two played together for years. But I spent enough time with the legend to know how special his talent was. Back in the day, after Slim Dog met his maker, Henri would always be boasting about how Slim Dog told him he was the best slide player he'd ever seen. Even better than Slim Dog himself. Ha! Oh man, I miss that fool Henri. And he could play, there is truth to that. But better than Slim Dog? Come on now. The cat who owned the recording studio was a lunatic, Martinique the Martian Driscoll. He was a bit on the paranoid side, thinking everyone was out to steal from him. Didn't trust us musician types as far as he could throw us out the front door. He was always switching the door code, sometimes every other day.
Doesn't sound paranoid to me. Probably had good reason.
He sure did.
Let's just put it this way. The man had secrets he needed to keep. The Martian was something of a ladies' man, had a dalliance with a different lady every week. So he set himself up with a private suite at the Hotel Eclair. Every time he changed the door code to the studio, he'd leave it there for whoever he had coming around. You find room 212, you find the code.
Room 212. Got it.
One last thing. We're not gonna be keeping regular business hours from here on out. Security reasons. I'm sure you get it. We'll shout out on the radio when the doors are open, so stay tuned in. Good luck to you, tourists.
Our battles with the dead in those early days were vicious and exhausting. We had zero control, and the fiends were everywhere. If our community was going to survive and grow, we had to radically rethink our approach. Our home and the area immediately around it needed to be entirely within our control. With that in mind, and while I stood atop one of our rickety barricades, I looked to the skyline and saw the promised land. A silhouette against the purple and orange of God's dazzling canvas. 45 stories tall. Call it. There is our new home, I thought. A place where we can flourish on our own terms. In 2 days, I had our entire community organized and ready to march. 48 desperate but motivated souls, prepared to abandon what we had worked so hard to secure for the hope of a brighter future. The journey was through hell itself. So thick with the dead, it took us 3 sleepless days and nights to travel just a single mile to the tower gates. But by God, we made it. Not one life lost. We did it as one determined heart, one determined soul. But as we stood there, gazing up at our future, filled with the hope of what it could become. We knew that the work was far from over. The tower was a tomb. Each floor of the 45 infested with the dead. One final challenge that we, the founders of our glorious community, were resolved to overcome by any means necessary.